Hi everybody, very exciting moment. It's a quarter to midnight at the end of day 6 and it's pitch black. Behind me is Kilimanjaro and we're just about to start our trek up the mountain. So this is the kind of overnight trek to hopefully get to the summit at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. We're at 4,600 metres, so we hiked today 4 kilometres and from 3,950 metres to 4,600. So here is today's lunch, which is pretty typical. Toasted sandwiches and chapatis, and there it is, carrot soup with all the usual condiments to go with it. And we've had the day, most of the day here, resting, eating, just kind of briefing and preparing ourselves for what's to come. And we're about to set out on what will probably be a 7 to 8 hour hike up to the summit. About probably 6 hours of that will be in darkness, so we've all got head torches, and yeah, we're all nervous, excited, kind of not quite sure what to expect. So anyway, we'll let you know what it's like at the top. Bye. Okay, so we're back at our hotel, and while we're sitting in this kind of tropical paradise, we just wanted to reflect quickly on summit night, because it's a real challenge, and whilst it's fresh in our minds, we wanted to talk about it quickly. So we left base camp at about midnight. So of course it was pitch black, it was freezing cold, it was around about 0, and we reckon it got up to about -10 when we got to the top of the mountain. And one of the questions I'd asked, and I hadn't shared this with the group or with my lovely wife here, I'd asked the tour leader quite early in the expedition. I couldn't work out why you would choose to climb a mountain in the middle of the night when you had 12 hours of daylight potentially available. And he was really good. Our tour leader was excellent throughout, and he was really honest. He said one of the reasons is because people like to see the sunrise from the summit, which makes a lot of sense. But actually there's a bit of psychology in it as well, because he said, being honest, if people go up in daylight and they can see just how far it is they have to climb, then an awful lot of them will give up. Whereas of course if you're climbing in the dark, by the time it gets light, you're close enough to the summit to think, oh, I can do this. So there is a lot of psychology, and it's good psychology actually, but I think the point for us is, and I think we both agree here, for me that was the most physically demanding thing I have ever done. It required an awful lot of physical and mental strength, and we're not trying to put you off here, are we? At all, because it's a fantastic achievement. The feeling of having completed it is amazing, but
it's very, very challenging,
isn't it, eh? Yeah. And you weren't feeling great. You had a bit of a funny tummy. We don't know whether it was altitude or what it was. Probably a bit of altitude. Whether it went as far as altitude sickness, we're not really sure.
Yeah, they were good. After about 2 hours into the climb, I started feeling really, really sick. The leader came over and kept checking me. I had no headache. I think that's probably why they let me carry on. But I felt sick, and for the rest of the trek. And I was really cold and shivery. I mean, it was freezing, but luckily there was a spare coat. But yeah, it was a lot harder than either of us expected. And
we're absolutely not saying don't do it, but I think what we're saying is you need to be mentally prepared that it is going to be tough. It's not just a stroll in the park. Okay, so we've just arrived at Stella Point after, hold on a minute, I'll just check at the time, after 7 hours and 5 minutes of trekking. From Stella Point to the peak is about 1 kilometre and a 150 metre climb, which doesn't sound very much, but psychologically it is quite demanding because although the views are amazing, you just want to get to the top by that point. I don't know what the audio quality is going to be like because of the wind, but anyway, we've made it. We are at the top of Kilimanjaro, 5,800 and something metres. It's been an absolutely epic journey. We've loved every minute of it. We've had a fantastic team guiding us here. Without Julio and his team, there is just no way we would have made it up here. There were some pretty tough moments. It is incredibly steep, I have to say, and we're just kind of doing photos now. The view from here is absolutely incredible. Is it worth it? I don't know, I'll reflect on it and tell you later, but the view is just amazing. But you're pretty high here. They call this the death zone, so it's kind of charming. So we're just going to have our photos taken, and then we're going to start to head down because we are all absolutely, pardon the phrase, absolutely cream crackered. Okay, over and out. You take a slightly more direct route from Stella Point down to base camp than you did on the climb up. The descent back down to base camp is an absolute pleasure in comparison. As you can see, it's a kind of scree surface and you're almost skating down, and the feeling when you get to base camp is amazing, as particularly when you bear in mind that you've climbed 1,300 meters, so that's over 4,200 feet, and then descended by the same amount. It's absolutely brilliant. The trek down from the peak to base camp probably takes about 3 hours in total. When you get to base camp, you rest for 2 or 3 hours, have a bit of sleep and then something to eat, and then you continue on down to Millennium Camp.
Okay, morning. It's the morning of day 8, the last day. So yesterday, after the massive climb, we left base camp at 4,600 meters. And we did a 4K walk all downhill to Millennium Camp, which is 3,950 meters. It felt a long way, but anyway, we all slept really, really well because we were knackered. And now we're closing up camp and we're going to walk 13.5 Ks down to Mweka Gate. Which is at 1,600 meters, so that's 2,300 meters to go down, and I've got sore toes, so that's going to be lovely. And then that's it. That's our trek all over. Mount Meru in the background. Ta-da! And all our lovely people. Water team. Okay, that's it. Bye. Bye.
Is that okay? Yeah. Don't want to disturb you, but this is obviously, wow. Hello, morning guys. Morning, how are you? Yeah, good, thank you. Ah, what are you cooking there? Oh, it's toast. Toast, okay, very good, wow. Well, you're doing an amazing job. Fantastic, brilliant food. Thank you very much indeed.
We're going to talk to you about day 8, which was yesterday. And it was the hardest day I found. It was 3.5 Ks down quite steep rocky path to Mweka camp, and then another 10 Ks all the way down to the gate in the forest, and it was very slippy, very muddy. It was very, very hard going. It just went on and on and on. How long did we take? About 6 hours?
I think it was over 6 hours. It did feel a bit like the kind of sting in the tail, didn't it?
Yeah.
We weren't quite expecting it.
We just wanted it to end. Everyone just wanted it to end. We did see some monkeys in the forest, really close up, so that was really good.
That was a bright spot, wasn't it?
And then we got down to the gate and had all our pictures.
Paid $2 to have your boots cleaned, didn't you?
I was going to say, it's absolutely worth every single cent. There are men at the bottom that kind of come up and they clean all, because you've gone through the mud, you're covered in mud. They clean your gaiters, clean your boots, clean your sticks for $2. Of course, I got it done, really happy. This one marched ahead, Mom, not having that done. Yeah, I'd pay it again today. And then we all grabbed a quick drink, got in the bus, went about 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah, not far.
To, was it a hotel or
no?
a
I think it's a kind of restaurant that's set up for
the end.
These things called the tipping ceremony.
Yes.
We'll talk about tipping separately in the video because it's, believe it or not, quite a complicated subject. But you have the ceremony at this kind of really nicely laid out restaurant where you have a meal. There's the inevitable gift shop with a lot of overpriced souvenirs, and but it was a really nice ceremony. All the porters and the cook and everybody come along and they get told what tip they're going to get, and there's a bit of singing. Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata. And it was a really nice end to the trip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We get an opportunity to say goodbye to the people you've been working with and trekking with for 8 days, and thank them. So yeah, that was really nice, but it did feel like it was getting kind of getting to a point where we really needed to do it, didn't we? Because we were getting pretty tired.
And then we got on the bus and got dropped off at the hotel.
Hi everyone, we thought it would be a really good idea to introduce you to our brilliant guide. Welcome, Julio.
Thank you very much. My name is Julio Ludago. I'm working as a guide on the mountain in Tanzania as well as in safari.
So Julio, tell us the name of your company.
Our company name is called Sote Adventure Tours. It's quite new, but our experience matters.
I was going to say your company might be new, but you are not.
I'm not the new.
No.
I've been doing this for over 20 years. Started as a porter, go through upward, become a chef, and later on become a guide. I've been guiding now for almost 11 years, and later on we decided to start our local small company.
Okay, brilliant. So how many times, Julio, have you actually climbed Kilimanjaro?
For sure, before pandemic, it was over 350, but that is guessing, but I even say more. Yes, and I did the official speed ascent. That took me about 10 hours up and down. This is brilliant.
Unbelievable. Oh yes. Unbelievable.
Cool.
Yes. Very good. So we are doing the Lemosho Route. Why do you think the Lemosho Route is a good route for people to do?
Yeah, well, Lemosho Route is among of 6 routes which takes people up, but Lemosho Route I can say is the best because has got good scenery and has got more time to acclimatize and has got success rates for people to conquer the roof of Africa.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's 8 days, isn't it?
Yes. Also, if you want to take Lemosho Route, I will recommend not less than 7 days.
Not less.
Although, if you are doing 7 days, on day 2 is a little bit longer, that you will be doing like 18 kilometers. Okay. So, in order to let your body acclimatize well, I will recommend 8 days or even more.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And you keep telling us all the time in Swahili, pole pole, which means slowly, slowly. Why do you tell us to walk like that?
Oh, well, pole pole, when you are hiking, it lets your body to acclimatize well, because if you go faster, that means your body will be unacclimatized. And when you are hiking pole pole, you let your body to build up the white blood cells, which helps to bring more oxygen in your blood, and that will help you to smash the roof of Africa easily.
Yeah,
cool.
Brilliant.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Julio. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Oh, yes. You guys, if you are enjoying or if you are satisfied with the service we are offering here on the trip, we would recommend you, we are requesting you to be our ambassador. That means to welcome other people to use us as Sote Adventure Tours. Although it seems to be a small company, but our experience is more than the company.
And I totally agree. I feel like I'm in absolutely safe hands 100%. And I had big doubts about this trip, whether I could do it, whether I wanted to do it. But having met Julio and his whole team, I highly praise them, highly recommend them.
Okay.
As always, I try to learn a little bit of the language, and here in Tanzania it's Swahili. So I'm going to try and say a few things for Julio, who will correct me when I say it wrong. So, Jambo.
Jambo,
Which means,
how are you?
okay. And then I've also learned Samahani.
That means I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've said that a lot, especially when I get in the way of the porters. And I say, Wewe hujambo.
Is you, how are you?
And you would say,
Mimi si jambo.
which means,
I'm well,
Yeah.
thank you.
and thank you, very important, asante sana.
Yeah, thank you very much. Asante sana.
And please is
Tafadhali.
tafadali. So dio tafadali, yes please.
Yep.
And hapana, asante, no thank you.
No, thank you.
No thank you.
Yeah.
I've learned a bit more. Oh, here you go. Samahani, una ongea Kiingereza.
I'm sorry. Do you speak English?
And you would say,
Ndio.
Dio.
Nina ongea Kiingereza.
Very good. And they taught us this because this is very important to get good sleep, and that is lala salama
Yes, that means sleep well.
and usiku mwema.
That means good night.
I think that's probably enough. But anyway, I keep trying. Thank you, Julio.
You are most
Thank
welcome. Asante sana.
Asante sana.